Well, good afternoon, good or lunchtime. This is Lunchtime Reading with Mrs. Sim, and hey, look at the camera. It's Stella. She always doesn't like to look at the camera. All right. Oh, there she is. Okay. I was hoping you could get a better view of her. Ooh, that's my hand. Sorry. Let's go over here. Let's push it down a little bit more, and maybe you can see her. Stella, you're kind of like not in the picture. Oh, there she goes. Oh, that's a good girl. Okay, she's like, Mommy, I don't really want to be here. Yes, she calls me Mommy. All right, we are reading Door on the Wall. We are in the last chapter. She's laying back down. And we just finished with Robin went all the way to John Go-in-the-Wind's mother's house to find him, to get help, because the castle was being sieged. It was being sieged by the Welsh. They were coming in to take over. The Welsh were people who lived in Wales, which if you look on a map, you have England, and then to the east of that, not to the east, to the west of that, you have Wales. And these people were trying to come in and take over the castle. And it was foggy, and they were running out of food, they were running out of water, and Robin, even though he can't walk, went all the way using his crutches, forded a river, and freezing cold, went past Welsh soldiers, and now he found John Go-in-the-Wind. John Go-in-the-Wind got help from Sir Hugh, and Sir Hugh is, I think he's a cousin of Sir Peter, and he's going to bring all his men, all his soldiers, and they're going to drive the Welsh out. So where we ended was that John Go-in-the-Wind and Robin went to, I already forgot, was he wasn't a tailor, he was a shoemaker, I think. And that was John Go-in-the-Wind's friend, and he lowered a basket and had both Robin and John Go-in-the-Wind come up secretly to the bell tower. That's where they're gonna ring the bell. And the bell is very important here because that is when the soldiers are going to charge into the castle and rescue it. Okay, so here we go. We have one chapter left, but I'm gonna read this in 2 sessions. So we're gonna read about half of it today and then half of it in 2 days. Okay, here we go. This is Robin and John Go-in-the-Wind. They did not linger in the house, but with a few words to the shoemaker, left by way of the garden. There was a door in the wall, we hear that a lot, don't we, leading into the graveyard of the church, where John and Robin slipped quietly from one great tombstone to another. They entered the church by the sanctuary door. Startling, the sacristan has to do with a person who deals with sacred things that belong in the church. And he was there kind of protecting some of those sacred things. They startled him, who slept and ate in a small room off the entrance porch. "Who art thou?" he called, hearing the creak of the door. "Art friend or foe?" "Hist!" warned John, stepping quickly toward the light of the lantern held by the sacristan. "We are friends. I am John Go-in-the-Wind, minstrel. This lad is young Master Robin, friend and ward of Sir Peter. He hath this day saved us all." The sacristan held up the lantern where he could see John's face. "Now I know thee," he said, nodding his head. "I knew your father." John told the sacristan how Robin had come to warn him and to get help, and described the plan he had made with Sir Hugh to sound the bells, giving the signal for attack. "Come with me then," said the sacristan, leading the way. They went down the long, dark aisle of the church to the door of the tower. "Give me your crutches here, young master," said John. "Can you climb the ladder, or will you go piggyback? 'Tis a great height, but there are resting places." "I can do it," said Robin shortly. Had he not climbed to the towers of the castle many times? They had just reached the belfry when it was time for curfew to ring. The bells began an ear-splitting clamor. Curfew is when everyone should be, going inside, and it was time, it was evening, so it was time to be inside. And so the bells rang to tell the whole village it's curfew. So the bells were ringing, and they were ear-splitting, so loud. "Down flat and cover thy ears, quick!" shouted John. They flattened themselves on the platform and endured the deafening sound. "We shall go to the top first," said John, "for it is yet too soon to give the signal, and from there we shall see somewhat." From the belfry to the top of the tower, it was another 30 feet of climbing. That was probably like 3 flights of stairs. When they reached the top, Robin fell in a heap onto the platform with every bit of strength gone from his legs and arms. It slowly returned. In a little while, he was able to rise and stand beside John, looking out over the town. "We agreed that I should wait an hour after curfew when the moon will be nearly overhead," said John. "That allows time for all companies to be in place, and with the sounding of the bell, to move in about the town and castle wall at once." "How can you tell when it has been an hour?" asked Robin, because there were no clocks back then and no watches. "By the feel of it," said John. "Besides, I shall play 'Love a Garland Is' and 'Lament of a Lass.' That will be half of the hour." He unslung the harp from Robin's back and began the music. While they waited for the rest of the hour to pass, John pointed out the familiar turrets of the castle. Those are small towers of a castle, so he was pointing them out to him. The North Tower, where they had stood that day, and the Tower of the Keep, where the household waited for deliverance. He strummed on the harp between times. The hour was up. "Now," said John, "it is time for the alarm. Stay here, and I shall return. Cover thy ears well, but watch to see what happens." He was gone through the hatch into the darkness below. Robin waited, his skin prickling with excitement. Would the signal be at the right time? Would the arrows find their mark and lift the siege? Bong, 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 bong. Stella was wondering what that was. The great bell rang, sending waves of sound that went out over the hills and came echoing back into the stone of the bell tower, which trembled with the vibration. At first, Robin could see nothing different from what he had seen before. Then it was as if a part of the landscape itself, way down there, moved off toward the south, just below the edge of the town. Gathering from the slopes were tiny moving figures, now in the open, now lost in shadow. Robin searched for another sign, this time in the direction of Leatham Bridge. The sign was there, where he could see more clearly. John came up, breathing hard. "What's to be seen?" he asked. "Are they moving? Have you seen any arrows fly?" He looked to the Leatham Bridge. Then it came. A hail of arrows that were like dark rain sped from oncoming yeomen, dropping the sentries on the bridge and picking off men of the guard manning the wall of the town. So here they come, all of these soldiers or yeomen from Sir Hugh's castle, and they're shooting arrows, and they're driving out these Welsh. From where they stood, Robin could see it all as plainly as if it had been a toy village set in a toy landscape, and the soldiers, toy soldiers. He saw pikemen strike down sentries of the enemy at the town gate and take prisoner the Welsh guards. He saw the company of Sir Hugh's men enter and take the town. It had been a complete surprise to the Welsh. When John Go-on-the-Wind saw what was happening and realized that the plan had been successful, he tossed his hat into the air and clasped Robin in his arms. "We've won!" he shouted. "The Welsh are routed! Lindsay is saved once more!" Then, setting Robin on his feet again, he said, "Stay here and watch how the Welsh are marched out of the town while I go below. You'll hear such a peal of bells as shall wake the dead lying below." Down he went again through the hatch to the belfry. With the pealing of the bells, flares went up from castle and town. Windows and doors opened. The peal of the bells stopped. John came back, and together they watched the lifting of the siege. They could see people running about through the streets, embracing one another, tossing caps and hats into the air, and in other ways showing their joy at being freed of the Welsh invaders. In a short while, they saw the enemy marched out of town. Tears streamed down Robin's cheeks. "I must not cry," he thought, wiping them away, "not even for joy." "Now," said John, lifting Robin aloft, "you will be carried on my shoulder. So, for you are the hero of this victory." And together they went down the long stretches of ladder and stair to the ground. "Make haste," said Robin. "Let us go to the keep at once, so Sir Peter and Lady Constance shall know that I am safe and well. Brother Luke will be sure of it, for his prayers have followed me this day, that I know." All the way through the town square, John made his way with Robin on his shoulder, high above the villagers dancing in the dawn of returning day. They were greeted with cheers at the castle gate and followed across the courtyard to the inner gate and to the keep by the cheering crowd. Alan at gate saw them from the gatehouse. The drawbridge was lowered and the portcullis raised. Remember, that's the gate. The iron gate was raised. And just inside, the whole company of the household stood to receive them. This is Robin and John Go-on-the-Wind. Sir Peter was in the center with his sons and the 2 pages. Near him was Lady Constance with her women and little Alison. Dieath, remember, the dog, whimpered joyfully beside Brother Luke. Sir Peter held out his arms and helped Robin to the ground, placing the crutches to support him. Then, placing his hand upon Robin's head, he spoke solemnly. "Now, before God and this company," he said, "I do hail thee conqueror and true son of thy noble father." Lady Constance embraced Robin, and the women made much of him. Dieath was too well-bred a dog to push himself forward, but his eager prancing and wriggling finally brought him to Robin's side, where he thrust his long, cold nose into Robin's hands. Oh, Stella just laid down. John Go-on-the-Wind was called forward. He was given a fleece of land. Oops, sorry, I read that wrong. He was given a piece of land for his own and a portion of sheep. Sorry, I've got my dog here distracting me. So John Go-on-the-Wind was called forward, and so they gave him, Sir Peter gave him, for what he did too, right? A big piece of land to own and a portion of sheep. That was his reward. Hey, come here. You need to get up. Come on, this is you. This is Mrs. Simonowski and Stella. Reading time. Up, 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 up. Come on. Here you go. Come on. Come on. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Come on. Up, 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 up. Come on. She just does not know what to think. Come on. Get up. Come here, Stella. Come on. She went for a long run this morning with Mr. Simonowski and I, so she's probably very tired. Okay, so they just gave John Go-on-the-Wind a big gift by giving him a big piece of land and a portion of sheep. With it, certain rights for hunting and fishing to be his and his heirs forever. Brother Luke gave Robin his blessing and went with him to his chamber. "It seems long since I left here," said Robin, looking around as if he expected things to be changed. But there was the cross over his bed, and there on the workbench the little harp, just as he had left it, waiting for the strings to be fastened to the keys. Much has happened in this one day, said Brother Luke. I should like to hear how thy journey went. By thy look, thou hast fared well, except for needing a good wash and a sleep. Off with thy borrowed clothes, and once more I shall care for thee. Sleep overtook Robin even before Brother Luke had finished. I think that is where I'm going to stop, and then we will finish the story in the next couple days. And I know what I was going to show you, you guys. I mean, this might be disgusting, but I thought the boys would enjoy it. So I'm down here in the basement, and we get lots of spiders down here, unfortunately. So I have lots of spider traps. Oof! Oh, look how many are in here. I don't even like to look at it. Oh my goodness! Look at all those. I just wanted to hear all you girls go ew and scream, and then the boys go, oh wow, that's cool. So anyway, these spider traps, I love them because they really work and they catch lots of spiders. All right, there you go. That was your little science lesson and reading time, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will finish the story in 2 more days. All right, goodbye.